And is your head snapping back and forth the way mine is? Talk about a seesaw ride. This loony son of a bitch, Donald Trump. And I keep hearing commentators say, well, you know, this is what he promised he was going to do when he was campaigning, so of course he's going to go ahead and do it. The reference being to all the dismantling of the Constitution, of the separation of powers, of the fact that the Congress takes care of spending issues. All of this, Trump, along with his this goddamn Nazi from South Africa, Musk, they are dismantling everything they can put their filthy hands on. Trump, by virtue of the office that he weaseled his way into, is the most powerful person on earth, and Musk, because he knows how to manipulate government funds, is the richest. So this gruesome twosome, Trump and Musk, what a combination for evil, for death, for destruction. And by Christ, they are getting right to it, aren't they? All right, I'm going to get to that, trust me. My sponsor tonight is Joe Pollack. Thank you, Joe. And Joe has kind of like a commercial announcement, which is okay with me. This is what Joe's message is. Mike, you've mentioned that you have considered getting on Blue Sky. I would strongly encourage you and all your listeners who've not yet done so to sign up at your earliest opportunity. All right, Joe. Yeah, I've already signed up. I'm not sure what to do next. I've signed up. I'm kind of, I get very confused very easily because of this avalanche of bullshit that just comes rolling into the mechanism of this podcast. Every evening when I sit down at the end of the day and take a look at what has transpired here in the United States of America over the past 24 hours, I just about lose my shit. I mean, if I were a drinking man, I would start hitting the bottle. I used to be able to find escape with a little bit of reefer, maybe. Not anymore. This stuff is just too unbelievable. And before I get into the nuts and bolts of what this rotten son of a bitch is doing, maybe you heard about this, but fans at a Toronto Raptors game, the NBA, continued a trend yesterday of booing when the American national anthem is played at sporting events in Canada. Canada. Trump is fucking our relationship. The United States and Canada have the longest unprotected border of two nations on earth. Canada. And rightly so. I mean, I understand why the fans boo when the national anthem of the United States is played. It's, I don't know why national anthems are played at sporting events anyway. What the fuck is that all about? I've been an advocate against that for years, but that's not the story here. The way the AP reported it, fans of the NBA's lone Canadian franchise booed the anthem after similar reactions broke out Saturday night at National Hockey League games in Ottawa, Ontario, Calgary, and Alberta, all four cities. This was just a few hours after the orange filthy fucker made his threat against our northern neighbor a reality. Now, let me mention something. As I try to sludge my way through this horrible shit today, having to do with Trump, have you noticed absolute goddamn silence from every single Republican / Christian fascist fuckhead in the Congress, on both the House and the Senate? Not a single goddamn Republican has stood up and said, yo, wait a minute. This is not the way we run the United States government. Not one. So what does that tell you? Well, what it should tell you, very simply, as long as the Republican Party, as it likes to call itself, although it is not, it's a bunch of Christian rotten-ass Nazis, but as long as they have the majority in the House and the Senate, this shit's going to continue. I don't know if we can hold on for 2 years until the midterm elections coming up in 26. Honestly, I don't know. But we better. We've got to get this country out of the hands of these goddamn destroyers, these fascist pigs like Trump, and that's an insult to pigs, and Musk, and this crazy, insane-looking monster, Ketchup Patel. Jesus Christ. Okay. The fans, AP cites a certain game at the Toronto Raptors NBA game. And the AP reports that after initially cheering for the 15-year-old female singer, fans booed throughout the singing or the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner. And at the end, cheers could be heard as the crowd erupted in applause for the Canadian anthem. Oh, Canada? What the fuck? Canada. This psychotic son of a bitch Trump is turning friend and foe, well, friend against us. Our main adversary, which is China, whether we like that or not, it's the truth. It has taken years and years and years to push China into the configuration of being our worst enemy, but it's there. And its economy now is bigger than the United States. Xi Jinping, the dictator of China, is just probably laughing his ass off about what's going on in this country. And the thing that bothers me, when he's over his laughing fit, he may decide this is time to really fucking bring the hammer down on the United States. And what does that mean? Well, yeah, indeed. What does it mean? The Detroit Red Wings forward, Patrick Kane, going back to NHL, he was born in New York, said after the Red Wings won in their game, the Detroit guy said, quote, I mean, it's too bad, right? It is what it is. I guess you can maybe understand it from this side, but it seems like it's a thing that's going to continue around the league now, end quote. Jesus Christ, look what this son of a bitch is doing. And like I mentioned, not a single Christian fascist, not one of these pig bastards have opened their mouth in the House of the Senate. It's just insane. But this is what's happening. Trump is very slowly, well, not so slowly, destroying everything that either was good and decent or had the potential of being good and decent from the United States. The Constitution, to these filthy pig bastards, these Republicans in the House and the Senate, the Constitution means absolutely nothing. 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 The Premier of Ontario, Canada, that is the most popular province in Canada, he said today that he's ripping up a contract with the South African Nazis' Starlink internet service in response to U.S. dictator Trump's tariffs on Canada. The premier there is Doug Ford. He said he's also banning American companies from contracts with that province. He had signed a $100 million contract with the South African Nazis company back in November to deliver high-speed internet to remote residents in rural and northern Ontario, where they desperately need high-speed internet. But Ford said today, quote, we'll be ripping up the province's contract with Starlink. Ontario won't do business with people hell-bent on destroying our economy. Trump is the only person to be blamed. Maybe Elon Musk can call his buddy? That is one of the ramifications, is losing this contract. And the Premier Ford said the U.S.-based businesses, not just the ones belonging to the South African Nazi immigrant, But U.S.-based businesses are going to lose out on, quote, tens of billions of dollars, end quote, as a result of a response by the Ontario province. He said this, quote, we just aren't going to be using American companies. And no matter if we are building a hospital, if we're building anything, if we're building a doghouse, I want to make sure we are using Ontario steel, Canadian products, Canadian wood, Ontario wood, anything. I don't care if it's a toothpick. We need to purchase from Canada and from Ontario. This is what Trump has started. And I heard today that now he's threatening economic sanctions against the European Union? How long are we Americans going to sit on our asses and let this continue? The Congress is gone. There is no Congress. Fuck the Congress. It doesn't exist anymore where it concerns its constitutional responsibility to be a block when a dictator son of a bitch like Trump gets to power. Nothing. Silence. Crickets. And as far as the Supreme Court, oh, fuck, don't even mention the Supreme Court. So where are we? Where are we? I think you know where we are. Trump is pushing this country, and I swear to God, I don't know how it can not happen. But if Trump continues his bullshit, his dictator attitude, he's pushing this country to an armed revolt. Very simply. That comes from me as an observer. I'm not advocating that because I can't stand political killing or territorial killing or racial killing. But Trump is pushing this country to some sort of an armed resistance. Now, it's going to take a while because the shit that he's doing now has yet to filter down to we Americans. You know, we can stand in shock and awe in seeing what he's doing, but the direct effect is going to come, and it's going to come like a fucking sledgehammer right across the face of the people in this country. Ford also said, the premier of Ontario province, Doug Ford, he said, quote, Canada did not start this fight with the United States, but you better believe we're ready to win it, end quote. And he also said this, referring to the orange piece of filth, quote, he wants to come after us? I've yet to hear one American citizen say Canada is the problem, end quote. Well, of course not. Canada's not the problem. Well, Trump responded to the Ontario province premier on Sunday, and he said, quote, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. Harsh but true. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state. Much lower taxes and far better military protection for the people of Canada. And then in all caps, and no tariffs. He put that on his filthy little toy social media platform. Jesus Christ, what is going on? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.